Hi, Karen. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Hi, Paul. How are you today? Let's see. We're going to go to... Good evening, everyone. How are you? Hello, Mr. Kai.
Hey, Terry.
How are you, buddy?
Good, you?
Good to see you on the call. Hi, Darlene. I see you. Can you hear me, Darlene?
I can hear you.
All right. Hi, nice headphones, buddy. Love them.
Yeah, it keeps my brains in place, Terry.
Ground control to Major Kong.
That's it. It's all the way, brother.
Good to see you guys on the call. Hi, Laura. Big sister on there. I think she's muted now.
Hello.
Rico, how are you, buddy? You must be
Good, how you
driving.
doing, Terry? I am.
Drive on the road, okay? Don't be looking at the screen. We know the socks are good, but they're not miracle workers, buddy.
No? Oh, come on.
Are you?
You can't drive with your eyes closed.
Well, I can if I have a passenger driving for me.
Exactly.
Or if I get my Tesla.
Terry, Ian, Liz, Ellen. Big Ellen.
Hey,
Ellen, good to see you.
how are ya?
Good. How are things in Boston?
Wet.
What? Is it raining today, is it?
Yeah, it's been raining Saturday, Sunday, and today.
Yeah.
I'm coming to get sunshine in Toronto.
Yeah, well, we're going to save you some, boy.
Thank you.
We'll have a nice 2 or 3 days here in Toronto for our summer in the city, which is fast approaching, that's for sure. I know people are winding down. It's just hard to believe that, geez, summertime. Kai, it only seems like yesterday we were fishing at the fishing lodge, eh?
Yeah, that was incredible, Terry. That was quite the couple of days we had.
Yeah, but it just doesn't seem like it was only yesterday, and when you think about it.
The summer's gone by like that. It's just incredible.
Exactly. It's been a quick one. I see all my son's buddies all getting ready to go back to school for hockey and so on, and I got guys calling me about moose hunting. You know, it's that time of year again, right?
Yeah, well, you know what? You got the tools to make it happen, buddy.
Yeah, it's good, but we've had a great summer so far, haven't we? Weather-wise, it's certainly better than last summer. That's for sure. So nice to see everybody on the call, and great to have Darlene Wilmer-Frost on the call tonight, who is I know that Darlene's been thinking about this call for a while, and we've talked several times, and I'm just so proud that she's jump out and share some stuff with us tonight, some stuff that obviously is keen to her, and always great when somebody in the team can share what they believe will help the rest of the team, and certainly appreciate everybody getting on the call. That's for sure. So I know that Darlene and I spoke a while back. I'm just trying to nail down a day with our holidays. It seems like every weekend in Canada now we have an excuse for a holiday, so that's all right. Not a bad thing. It's a good thing. So we had put it off last week, and we're excited to have Darlene on this week to talk to us and train us. And Darlene's an amazing woman. She is she has been a RMT by trade for 26 years. That's a long time, Darlene.
It is a long time.
You don't look old enough to be doing it for that long.
I started when I was 3. So,
yeah, good call. Good call. Yeah, so she's also a photographic artist, part-time, and a mom of 2 wonderful girls, 20 and 22 years old.
Yep.
And I believe your 20-year-old is going to be 21 soon. Is she not, Darlene?
Yeah, she's coming up in September.
In September, yeah. So she's going to be 21. So
Yeah.
And Darlene has built a phenomenal little business here with Vox Life in the last year and a half or so. And for a girl who, it's funny because we always laugh about this, she said, I have no time to do this.
I still don't. I'm working on that.
And the next thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. So as the saying goes, but we sure are appreciative of you coming on tonight, Darlene, and sharing your thoughts on your topic of knowing who you are. And I think it's a great topic, and I'm really excited to hear your thoughts on this, because it really resonates with me. In fact, I had a conversation with my sister this morning, and I said, I really wasn't quite sure what Darlene's topic was going to be, but in my own life experience, it really hit home with me, coming from a family background, right?
Yeah.
So I welcome you, and I'm grateful and thankful that you took the time to put this together. And so without further ado, I am pleased to introduce my friend, our teammate, Darlene Reimer-Frost. Take it away, Darlene.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So coming from my background, I am a massage therapist. I'm still a massage therapist. I'm hoping to actually transition more into the Vox career soon. Getting rid of clients is really hard because they just don't want to leave, and that's a cool thing. But something that has come about in my own career and in my own life, as far as what my own personal development, and I know Jay is big on personal development as well, and it is very important for you to grow yourself before you can grow your business. And that's kind of where this is coming from. So a lot of you have heard about the Simon Sinek Golden Circle, which is people won't be interested in what you have or how you do something until they know why you're doing it. And the why movement has been very big in the last probably about 10 years. I think he's been speaking on this. And that has developed into a whole lot of things that Simon has done. And his works really resonate with me because they are so personal. And that's one of the things that makes it very, very successful for him, is that it is personal. And that's part of where the why comes from. And it's part of what I wanted to talk about tonight, about where the who comes from. The importance of knowing who you are. And the 3 points that I want to make in that I want you to be able to carry with you. The importance of knowing who you are is because it defines you. It's also important to know who you are because it defines how you live your life, and it also defines your successes. And those are the 3 things that I want to bring into this talk tonight for you. Discovering who you are may be completely different than what you're thinking about. So just keep an open mind with that as we go into this. A lot of the precursor to this has also been really good, with Rebecca Naylor coming on, talking about mindset, and then the last one from the last week with Jen and the radio show. As we go into Summer in the City, this is also something, especially for the leadership. When you got your message from Angela Brown, the survey that you're going to take is very key to figuring out how to be successful in your business. And this is going to add into that as well. This is more the personal side of that as well. So the big question, who are you? Who am I? That's kind of where it stems from. So when you're talking about that, what is your belief, and what do those think about you? What do other people think about who you are? There's more to it than just your why, because your whys can change. And Jay is a perfect example. When he first started this business, or this venture into neurotechnology, his mom was his why. And it's a very noble and very credible cause. And it's something that we can all relate to, is our aging parents or our ill parents wanting to help them. So that was his why. It's one of the most compelling parts of Vox because we can all relate to that. And that's what makes it so strong. But his why has changed, and his why is no longer necessarily just his mom. It's grew to about 1 billion other moms. And that's how things can change, and that's how your whys can change. How you do things in certain times of your life can be different. So there's more to just the purpose of what you're doing than just your why. And that's where I want to go with that. So if you think about the Golden Circle, which I've got a little diagram here. So you've got what you do on the outside, how you do it, and then why you do it. If you think about who you are, it's as if you're taking that golden circle and all those motives and all those things that you're doing, and you're putting a body to it. You're putting a heart and soul to your why. That's your who. That's what's going to give you the hands and feet that will take your why, whichever one it is, or however it changes, and whatever it shifts to, your who is what's going to drive that force. That will always be the same, no matter what you do. So when you get into the definition of who you are, this is where it becomes a little bit tricky. Because if I asked you, who are you? About 85% of you are going to give me your occupation. Your occupation is not who you are. That's what you do. Okay, so that's why when I gave Terry my description, I said, I'm an RMT by trade. And he called me out on that. He said, so what do you mean by that? And I says, well, that's what I do. That's my job. But that's not actually who I am. Who I am, in my opinion, is a helper. It's somebody that I'm always looking for what I can do, for what I can help with, for how I can enable somebody. There's more to it than just that. And that won't change. So as an RMT, obviously I work with my hands and my shoulders, my body. What happens if I can't work? What happens if if I get into a car accident and I get a hand chopped off, or if I fall and break both my arms on the ice? What happens then? What happens to my identity? And that's something that you really need to think about, because your identity is not your job. It's part of what has developed you, but it's not who you are. And if you can put a label, if you can put a definition to who you are, it's a lot easier to transition. And that way, if you do break both of your arms in a fall on the ice, you just shift your who into a different why, and you shift your who you are into a different state of being, because your who won't change. How you take yourself into different situations won't change. So that's the first part of it, is that the definition of who you are. It's what defines you. A lot of people will be able to ask a family member or a friend. It's amazing, the people that you know the least, ask them who you are. They'll probably be able to tell you closer than anybody. It's very unique that way. But who you are is, simply put, your purpose and reason of why you exist. And this hit home to me when my sister fell ill. She had quite a bad physical ailment, and she basically went through a deep depression where she felt she was worthless. Nobody would want her, just, the whole gamut of emotions, but really feeling like there was nothing to her. And it bothered me a lot, because I thought, we grew up in the same household. Why are you thinking this way? And I posed the question to her. I says, if I get into a car accident tonight on my way home and I become a quadriplegic, is my worth gone? No, it's not. I still am a functioning person in society. I can still be able to cheer my nurses. I can still be a project for a doctor. Like there's more to your life than just what you do. And that's kind of where I'm going at with that, as far as your identity and who you are. So it gets pretty deep, and it's a little bit tough for some people to get into, simply because it does reach into areas that a lot of people have been avoiding for a long time, because they really don't know who they are. And it's important to know that. So if we can walk through that in some way with Vox, perfect, because it goes along with brain, and it goes along with having that ability to understand yourself and how you function. So recapping, number one, knowing who you are defines you. It also defines your life, and it can change how you see things. It'll also change how you respond to others and how others will respond to you. When you actually know who you are and you're comfortable in your skin, there's a lot that can happen. And it doesn't mean you have to be perfect. That's totally not what I'm getting at, because you can have a lot of faults, but you can be confident in your faults, and you can know your limitations, and you can have other people do those jobs for you where you can't do them. But if you know who you are and what you can do, go there and have other people help you with the rest of it. So again, it shapes your perspective. And I have a little thing, and it's a little bit, I tend to be a little bit dramatic sometimes, so bear with me, but let's put a scenario out there for you. Let's say you're an accountant, you're a CPA, you work with numbers all day, you work in an office, and you're the dad. And your 15-year-old daughter comes up to you and says, Dad, I'm going to move in with my 24-year-old boyfriend. She's 15. Okay, as an accountant, how are you going to respond to that? You're probably going to go hide somewhere and say, go talk to your mother or something to that effect, because you're using who you are as an accountant that deals with numbers. But what if I told you that you are not an accountant? Who you are is an analytical problem solver. And your daughter comes to you with this issue. How are you going to respond to that now? You're going to have a completely different perspective. Now you're going to say, I can deal with this. I can work through this because I'm not an accountant. I'm an analytical problem solver. So your perspective completely shifts. Now you can analyze the data that's been put before you. You can take a look at your daughter and what she's been dealing with in the last little while. You can weigh out the options and you can have a rational discussion. And chances are things are going to come out to opening up conversations where really she doesn't want to move in with her 24-year-old boyfriend. She's having issues with something that's happening and she just needs somebody to talk to, and there's nobody around that she feels that she can talk to. So it's not about changing. It is about changing your perspective more than anything. When you find out who you are, and when you know who you are, and when your identity comes from who you are and not what you do. So it defines how you live your life. And that can go on into all sorts of different avenues of your life, whether it be in your social life, in your work life, in your family life. But when your perspective changes, when you respond to things because of who you are, not just the label that society has given you as far as your occupation, things will dramatically change for you. And that's a freedom that's really cool. And it takes the fear out of a lot of things because you're not dealing with things in that way. It doesn't change anything about the situation. It just changes how you're responding to it. And that's important, especially when you deal with hurdles and when you deal with issues that come up. So as far as point number 2 is knowing who you are will define how you live. It'll change your perspectives in a positive way. And the third one, it will also define your successes. And this is where the application depends on whether you've discovered who you are or not. We can take a look at training in a different way as far as how to find out who you are. Those who are going on the leadership night the day before the conference starts, Angela Brown, I think I was saying this before, has an amazing, she has an amazing thing that the leaders have to do, and it's a question and answer about how you describe yourself, and through that it will give you different personality traits, different strengths and weaknesses, and that will help you figure out what you can and can't do. And that goes right alongside of what we're talking about tonight. I'm talking about the personal side about figuring out who you are, and she's talking about taking your strengths and weaknesses and using them to your benefit and to your business benefit. So it goes right alongside. So I'm really excited about the conference coming up in that respect. If you remain true to who you are, you will always succeed. So when you take a look at the Facebook posts about the different shows that are going on and different things, and there are a lot of people that are having great successes, and then there's a few that are having downtimes where they didn't have a good show, or they spent a crap load of money on a show and there really wasn't very good sales. Gauging it just by numbers, there are failures out there. And when you understand who you are and what your purpose is, that can help shift, because there's always going to be bad shows. There's always going to be huge successes and huge failures as far as monetary numbers go. But there's a lot to do with your perspective on that as well. And when you understand who you are, you can choose to claim those successes properly, so that your self-esteem, your self-fulfillment is there, even if the monetary doesn't come back to you. As an example, when I do a show, I use my who very strongly. My who is to help people. So if I see somebody struggling, my who goes out to them and it says, tell me about what's going on with you. Tell me about what you're dealing with. What kind of physical ailments do you have? What's the tremor from? If you don't mind me asking. And that opens up a huge bit of conversation, which can lead to, can this help you or not? I'm not sure if it can or not, but I know it can have an effect on your brain and how your brain responds to things. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at the 30 days and see what it can do for you. So that can open up conversations. It can also mean that when I talk to people, I'll get the skeptics. And of course I take up challenge as well. So if there's a skeptic, I'm going to start asking them questions because I want to help them understand what Vox is and what it isn't. We are not a sock company. We are not an insole company. We're not replacing your orthotics. We're a technology company. We're affecting your brain in a very, very scientific and very, very natural way. That is a big key, for me, is to have people understand what Vox is and what it is not. And to me, if I can educate 20 people at a show of what Vox is and what it isn't, it doesn't matter to me if I make the sale, because that person will understand. And the next time somebody says, hey, have you ever heard about that Vox stuff? Oh yeah, no, I was talking to a lady about that. And they're not just socks, and that education to me is far more important than the monetary value of selling them a pair of socks. That being said, when you understand who you are and you know your strengths and your weaknesses, if you know that you're not a good salesperson, it's okay not to be a good salesperson. Have somebody with you that is. And that can also amplify both of you, because when you're bringing two different people, two different perspectives, two different who's to your show, you're going to reach that many more people. One of the best examples that I can give you as far as how your who will define your successes is actually my husband, who is a salesperson for a roofing company. And he will be the first one to say that he's not a salesman at all. And yet he could probably sell ice to an Eskimo, and that's very cliche, but it's very true. But I would label him as an educator, not a salesperson, because his job in his mind is to sit down with these people and educate them about what products they're getting, what they're not getting, how he compares to another roof company that just gives them a quote for your roof's going to cost you $6,000. Well, what does that mean? He's going to sit down with them and he's going to say, you're going to get this, you're going to get this, you're going to get this, you're not going to get this, you're going to get this. But he's going to make sure that they understand every single thing about that quote before he leaves their house. And a lot of people will choose to go with him simply because of the confidence that he has in his own product, but also because they come away with an understanding. So he's not a salesperson, he's an educator. And this is coming from somebody that had probably a 60 average in high school. You don't have to follow the traditional labels as far as who you are. Being an educator does not mean you're a teacher. It means that you have a desire to have people understand what you're talking about and to walk away with that knowledge and be able to use it. And that's where I'm getting at with the who. It's taking the label away from the conventional and describing yourself to yourself so that you can understand who you are and you can use that to reach other people. So his success is in education. My success is in helping. Both of us have been able to have a benefit to our businesses monetarily because we've used those strengths. And that's where it can really be a part of your success. The other thing is, when you know who you are, it automatically will also tell you who you're not. And that's where you can choose to bring on other people onto your team that can help you with your weaknesses. You can also have people come onto your team that can amplify your strengths because you know who you are. So it is very important to doing that. The other thing about how it can define your successes is that when you know who you are and you have that confidence in yourself and in your abilities, you're no longer competing with anybody. You're simply you're fulfilling your purpose. Apple is a great example of that. They don't try and outdo Microsoft. They just try and outdo themselves. So when you're not spending all your time competing with another company, you can do your job better. And in the same respect, when you understand who you are, you're competing against yourself. You're making your goal is making yourself better, not in trying to beat somebody else's success rate at a show, not trying to get more sales. You're actually only trying to better yourself and those you come in contact with. And that taking out the competition is huge for a lot of people, because your worth goes way up when you're not comparing yourself to other people. And that's a wonderful thing to do. The saying goes, love what you do and do what you love, and you'll never work a day in your life. When you love what you do and you do what you love, also love who you are, and work according to your gifts, and you will always have fulfillment. And that can translate very easily into monetary value. But even more so when you have that fulfillment in your own life, people are attracted to you. People are attracted to what you do, because they can align themselves with that. They can align themselves with what you're getting at. So that's where I wanted to go with that one. Being who you are in a business gives you freedom to do a lot of things that you would not normally give yourself permission to do. It's a wonderful way to develop yourself and to grow in that respect. So again, the three things that I wanted you to come away with is the importance of knowing who you are because of how it can define you. It is not your occupation. You are you. And if you wanted a good exercise to take home tonight, Rebecca actually had some good questions. What do you define as your strengths and your weaknesses? What do other people define as your strengths and your weaknesses? She had a whole list of questions when she had her talk a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I think. Those are great ones for personal exercise. But also, if you could describe yourself in one word, what would it be? Is that who you are? Can you carry that with you? If you could put it on a little name tag describing yourself, who would you attract? And that can really develop for you. That can really go places for you. So take that as an exercise. What's your name tag? What do you want people to see in you? And what do they see in you? And grow with that and use that. So knowing who you are will define you. It will define your role in life. So it'll define your perspectives. It'll help you develop where you want to go with that. And it also defines your successes. And that's a very big and important one, because I think a lot of people compare themselves too much to other people, especially in network marketing, where there isn't a lot of training, and we're working on that with Vox, but there's not a lot out there. You're on your own a little bit as far as your personal development. So it is very important to go through these things and to develop yourself and to understand who you are, so that you can carry that into your business and be successful, and stop comparing yourself to other people. So that's kind of what I want to inspire you with as we go into convention, into Summer in the City, is to really dig deep and figure out who you are and where you want to go with that in your Vox career, and also in your life, and how that can define where you go. And I could go into a Dr. Zeus thing, but where you go and the places you go and that sort of thing. But understanding who you are is a very, very cool and very important thing. And that's what I wanted to bring to you tonight.
Well,
So thank you very much.
It's such an amazing topic, because personal development, in what I've learned in my short tenure in direct sales / network marketing, is personal development. And personal development is something that you have to grab the reins of. And what I mean by that is you have to be the person that says, hey, I want to be better. I want to be a better me. And yes, I can be a better me, maybe physically by lifting weights or doing whatever, but I want to be a better me in my ability to learn, in my ability to share, in my ability to care, in my ability to love. Some of those things that there's so many good books out there, and we got to take the time. We get so focused at times, I think, me included, where I got to build, I got to build, I got to build, I got to build, I got to sell, I got to build, I got to, teach. And I think sometimes we lose track of what we have to do for ourselves. And that's develop as a human being, develop as a team leader, develop as a friend. And that is really important to me. And your message tonight was incredible, because I remember my dad. I grew up in a family business, and I was a hockey player for a lot of years. And then when hockey didn't pan out, you were channeled into the family business. Even when you worked part-time in the summertime, it was just what we did. School wasn't sort of the route that we were allowed to go, because we had a family business and you were to go into the family business. And I always remember growing up as a kid that I was really, really disappointed at times in my dad, because I saw a different side of my dad outside of work than I saw with my dad at work. So my dad wanted to be defined by, I believe, what he accomplished. He wanted to be defined at times by, his business and so on. And,
Right.
For me, I thought, Dad, you have so much more. You're so much more than the printing company.
Yeah.
No one cares that everybody think it's great that you started a family business, and we're all grateful for that. But that's not the man who you are. You're the guy that loves to fish. You're the guy that taught me how to fish. You're the guy that taught me how to hunt. You're the guy that, taught me how to tie my first knot, taught me how to take a fish off, taught me how, you have so much more than I'm Ron St. Ammon, the owner of Richter Webb.
And that's one thing that you hit the nail on the head. People will not remember your dad because he owned the printing company. They'll remember your dad for who he is.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. When you touch people, when you reach people, they're going to remember who you are, whether you want to portray it or not. And how you come across, the more confident you are in who you are, the more they're going to remember you. And the more they're going to seek you out when they need something, or when they need help, or when they want to join a network marketing company. They're going to remember who you are and what you stood for. And if you align with them, or they align with you, they're on board. They're with you. They'll trust you. And that's important.
And I think, what you said today resonated with me. Work according to your gifts. We all have special gifts. Some of us are loud and boisterous. Some of us are quiet and shy. Some of us just go along and never hear a peep. And I think we all have special gifts, because there's so many people out there like us, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we're unique. Yes, we're all miracles of God. We are all masterpieces, from God's hand. And we all have special gifts to bring to the table, and certainly to bring to the world about how we share this technology. Because as you said, we're not defined by selling socks and insoles. Darlene Reimer is an incredibly warm and caring person. That's who I know. I don't know Darlene Reimer as the girl that's an RMT by trade. Do you know what I mean? So that's really important. And I think that, if we feel that, hey, I'd like to improve and be less shy, we'll do it. Do what makes you be less shy. Get out of that box.
Yep.
Talk more. Step out of something that makes you feel uncomfortable. The more you'll do it. I can remember the first time that I ever did this training call. Well over a year ago now. I mean,
yeah.
I was like soaked. I remember the first event. I'm not a public speaker. I don't get in front of people. I mean,
yeah.
My job was to sell them one-on-one. If I could talk to a business owner that I was trying to, acquire their printing contract, I could do that. But, to take the lead on something like this, it's something I really had to work at. And people may look and say, oh, well, you do a great job, and blah, 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 whatever. I'm like, guys, you have no idea how hard this was for me to get here. I agonized that night, and I even know my sister, when she did her training, turning, setbacks into successes. And I know how nervous she was about doing that. Right. And so that self-improvement part, my sister's so good at that one-on-one. That's who she is. She's caring. She's whatever. She's not Vox salesperson. I'm not the Vox salesperson. I'm Terry. I'm just a guy that, hopefully will do a good job at being a friend and so on. So I think your message was just resounded incredible tonight. And I think we all need to, look at that and to study that and say, what can we work on? What's my gifts? What's my gift that I can offer to the world? Will I utilize this vehicle to do that?
And also, who can I align myself to that's going to complement my gifts and my weaknesses?
Yeah.
Because your gifts and your weaknesses together are who you are, not
Yeah.
just your strengths.
Yeah, and you
So-
said that. That amplifies you. So if you're,
Yeah.
like you said, if you're not, the most outgoing and you're a little bit shy, then bring somebody that's, maybe a little more outgoing, and then it'll raise the bar for you a little bit too, to improve on those skills. I think that's very important. As you said, it can amplify something that you do. I always say, like, let's embrace the journey of who we are, right?
Yeah.
Because we're
Nina just put a comment in there about being authentic, and that's basically what it comes down to. Is when you are who you are, people will respect that. When you go to a show and you're not faking that you know the answers, you're not faking that you're the scientist that discovered this. You're authentic. You really don't have all the answers, and you're just there because you believe in the product, and it's helped you and it's helped the people you love, and people will resound with that. And when you're fake, they know it and they'll walk on because they know you're just trying to sell a pair of socks.
Exactly.
But when you're sharing the technology, like Jay has said many times, like you're sharing out of concern and out of love, people will respect that, and they will respond to that.
And I think when you're at a booth or a home show, you can tell yourself whether this is who I am by how I'm doing this. In other words, you try to be somebody that you're not.
Yeah.
When you're presenting this technology, sell it from the heart. I mean, you don't have to know everything.
Nope.
But you know what? I really don't know anything. I just know it's helped a lot of people, and we have almost 40,000 people on a testimonials group that I would love to share. And I just love to teach you how to be compliant with it. Wear it for blah 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 days or whatever. And I'm gonna.
And that's a really good question that people ask me. Is this going to help me? And my answer to them is, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to help you. I know it's going to make your brain work more appropriately to the responses that it's sending out to the body. Is it going to help exactly for what you want it to do? I don't know. Let's give it a try.
Yeah.
When you give them an answer like that, other than saying, yes, this is going to help your pain, you don't know that. It may help 100 other things in their body, and their pain may still be there. We don't know how the brain's going to respond, but we know the brain is going to respond positively. And that's the difference between being authentic and trying to sell it.
That's right. I mean, we have lots of anecdotal stories of people that have had success from this, whatever. Be honest with people. Be yourself.
Yeah.
Don't lie to your kids. You don't lie to your spouse. So don't lie to people that were sharing this technology. Be you and be proud of who you are. Stand up and be the authentic you, as Nina said. And Karen Smith said, it's harder to become a fake to sell than to just be you and share from the heart. And that's so true. I mean, Jay talks, I don't know whether you've ever heard Jay talk about the oblongata part of the brain. And he said it's the world's best bullshit detector.
Yeah.
When somebody walks in the room and they're trying to sell you or tell you a story, and your brain's going, tilt, 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 this guy's full or this girl's full of, that's your oblongata. And he said, Jay's the first one to say that we have to be authentic, and it has to be pure intent. Because if it's not that, and it's not you, then the oblongata part of the people you're selling to is going to go, bullshit detector, this is not real, this is a lie, blah, blah, blah. And that's actually a chemical reaction in the brain.
That's right. And that's actually what Simon Sinek will tell you about the why. Is the why and the how are all involved in the limbic system.
That's right. And
then that's the part that's going to understand far sooner than you trying to convince somebody. And people know. Yeah. They'll know. So it's right along that alley.
Yeah, and this is not sharing this technology, to me, is not about victory or loss per se. No. It's about engaging and linking arms with the mission that Jay set out. We all have an important part in that. And if we can all be our authentic self, Jay has never been nothing but authentic. I see no change in Jay when he's on the stage than when he's at the office. I've seen him mad. I've seen him happy. but he's Jay, right? And he's authentic. He is who he is. And but you can deal with that. It's real, right? And I think that your topic about being authentic and knowing who you are is so important for anything we do in life. I mean, it's not just certainly sharing this technology. I think it's important that we know who we are in all kinds of situations, that we know who we are as a parent, that we know who we are as a spouse, that we know who we are when it comes to our faith. You know, that we are authentic with that, because we do so many things and are swayed so easy by people. You know, somebody says, hey, you got purple. Look at your hair, it's purple. And you're like, oh, you told me my hair is purple. Well, write it down. Look at it. Is my hair purple? No. Okay, then it's not a fact, right? It's an illusion in your mind that somebody's trying to believe in who you are, right? Know who you are. That's not always easy. To figure that out and to be confident with it. So I think it's awesome. Kai says, when you're authentic, people also see your passion in what you do.
Yeah.
So true. So true. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. That was a great topic. We got it in just around 40 minutes. So if anybody has any questions, please type them in the chat. If you have any questions for Darlene whatsoever. We had great call, Jen Moyer. Thank you. Great call. We've got a really exciting weekend coming up.
Yes.
Some great training. We're going to have some fun this weekend for sure. I know that, you know, it's great to get together and do these training events, and we're all going to go out of there 10 feet tall and bulletproof. I know that. But it's really fun to get to see everybody. It's really... you know, really fun to be able to go and shake a hand and give a hug and you know, put the actual touch to the face, because sometimes it's almost surreal that, oh, you do exist. You're not just a face on Facebook or whatever. So that's kind of fun. So
and just so everybody knows, I'm really quiet when I go to these things. So I might be sitting in a corner somewhere. I do exist. I'm still there. I'm just very quiet.
I'll drag you out, Darlene. But thank you so much on behalf of the field here. Thanks for your topic today. I think it's so important. And as I say at the end of all our trainings, people, please, if you want to speak, if you want to do a training, something that resonates with you, if you think that this will help you in your self-improvement, to get in front of the screen here and have a chat and share what resonates with you and what has helped you, then I'm sure if it's something that's helped you, there'll be nuggets for all of us to learn and share and help each one of us. So thank you again, Darlene, on behalf of the field. And we got done early tonight, almost 45 minutes, so that's good. Kept it well under an hour, and I appreciate everything you do. And thank you all for being on the call tonight. We so appreciate it. And I will unmute all so we can all say goodnight. So
thanks a lot, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry. Talk to us.
Thanks for the call, guys. Good night.
Night.
See everybody soon.
Thank you.
Good night.
good night, folks. Thank you, Darlene.
I'm sorry, Aaron, you're not